Well, I'm Camilla, Camilla Brendon. I'm an artist and I work with found objects, predominantly plastics from coastlines, rivers and canals. And I use my work to open up conversation around consumption and use of plastics.
And I'm Molly Gadnez, and I'm one of the founders of a local volunteer group called the Regents Coalition, and we're based in Tower Hamlets, and we run lots of different kinds of volunteer events to take care of the Regents Canal between Limehouse Basin and Mile End Road. The way that we started was over our dismay at seeing lots and lots of plastic pollution in our neighborhood, in the canal. And we started really informally doing towpath litter picks with maybe 3-4 people. And as word of mouth spread about what we were doing, more and more people joined in. And now we, run this big monthly litter pick in partnership with Moo Canoes. They're a boat hire in Limehouse Basin, and so people can hop in the Moo boats and have a paddle and pick up rubbish directly from the canal. And when we started doing that, we were able to take out lots and lots of rubbish every month. I mean, the impacts of plastic in the canal is one, it sort of, lots of it falls to the bottom and just covers the bottom of the canal. That can suppress lots of growth of vegetation. It also tends to collect in hot spots along the canal. For example, in a place where, like a Butler shrub would sort of hang down and brush the surface of the water, lots of rubbish would get tangled up in there. And along these various hot spots, again, the impact is to suppress vegetation and then suppress wildlife from making it a home, suppressing their habitat. So by us kind of continuing to clean it out, we're able to kind of bring back some of that.
And I think something about, I sort of agree with everything you said, and then as I became more and more aware of plastics, especially on a part of the canal near where I live by Harrow Road. So I started working with those plastics, then I started researching more about plastics, and then a friend who I'm working with, Britt, who you met, she's a marine biologist, and she started to say plastics sort of almost the least of our worries, but it is a genuine and large worry. But the fact that chemicals that enter the water system can then leach onto the plastics, which break up into tiny pieces and get ingested by plankton and other marine life, is a really big concern, because then chemicals begin to work their way up the food chain and into our food as well, and then into our bodies. So not having plastic enter the water is really important. Yeah, working on a grassroots level, I suppose, from sort of an artistic point of view, having people look at materials in a different way. So say you go on a towpath clean or a Thames shore clean and get a load of earbud sticks and maybe like a child's toy and half a tyre. And then I go back to my workshop with some participants, and we make like a mobile with the tyre and then the toy down and the sticks, which can like flow in the breeze outside their house. Then you just constantly have a reminder that plastic's waterproof, it's durable, it's bright, it's colourful, it's pretty, it's not going anywhere. And I think artwork like that can just be a reminder that plastic shouldn't be treated as single use. So yeah, the kind of community art workshops I do are really to highlight what a strong and resilient and useful material plastic is, rather than something that's worthless and throwaway.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because sometimes it's easy to, you hear in the news, it sort of seems to be painted with like a single brush that it's bad. And in our experience of being a grassroots group, I think what getting involved does is help people, like sort of similar to what you do, kind of help people see the issue from a different angle. I mean, people who come on to our litter picks and actually get to hop in a 2-person kayak and start to paddle up the canal, like the instant you get in the boat and start paddling, we see it in the volunteer, your perspective just completely changes, and you sort of you get a whole different feeling about the surroundings that you use every day, and their importance, and you see things more closely, like the vegetation that's grown in the canal, like all the different kinds of birds and insects that you see along the canal and stuff like that. And you get to see close up the level of the problem of plastic pollution in the canal. I mean, everybody knows it's a problem, but when you see it and when you start picking it out of the water, you have a totally different feeling about how important the grassroots work is, and how satisfying it feels to get involved. So.
I think there's a host of issues. I think the kind of really obvious ones are our lifestyles that we're kind of accustomed to easy access and disposable products, especially depending how much disposable income you have, depending if you're both working with children. I think a lot of things come pre-made, packaged in plastic, and I think you need to make more of a conscious decision to take your own Tupperware to a place that will weigh you things, you know, to cook from scratch, to not have those meal deals. I think it's just more effort, and I think if you're time stretched and you're not as passionate as we are, it's really hard to do. I think even being passionate about it is really hard to do, to be honest.
It absolutely is.
You know, I've been caught out. I've bought a bottle of water.
You try to go to the shops and buy, you know, even, you know, your fruits and veggies, and everything's in a plastic package. It's almost impossible unless you can devote, you know, if you're able to devote lots and lots of time to seeking out places where you can
money,
get that
energy.
stuff. Absolutely. I think another obstacle is the fact that these sort of larger entities like supermarkets and corporations that manufacture some of this stuff aren't helping to make it easier for people to sort of move in this direction. I think it's catching on. You know, you see, for instance, sort of restaurants and places that do takeaway starting to do those things using you know, recyclable items or biodegradable, you know, takeaway containers or bamboo utensils or whatever it is. But I think policymakers aren't, you know, making it easy enough for a wider array of places to do that kind of thing.
3 things. Do you want to go first?
No.
Okay. So 3 things I'd recommend just to really positively help with litter is when you go out, carry a bag in your bag. So if you have any litter, you can just take it home with you in case a bin's overflowing or you can't find a bin. Take a plastic water bottle. That just cuts out loads of plastic use.
I would say another thing is to, you know, get involved with a local group. You know, even if you can't come to a litter pick every month, even if you can come once. Lower Regents Coalition, we're on Facebook, and you can get on an email list and just follow what's happening. And I guess the third one is I don't know, try not to drop rubbish, I guess.
Yeah.